It's another installment of the Caramel Journals, and joining me today is Dennis Taye Allen. Yes, there's a Dennis and an Allen, one before and one after the Taye, for those of you who didn't know he had names other than Taye.
Hey, actually, no, it's just Dennis, because Mini Taye is taking over, and he insists, okay, that's Dennis, I'm Taye. So, yeah.
I see you passed on the Devo genes.
Something like that.
Very cool.
So what's up?
Why are you here?
I don't know. You have to tell me.
You're here because you have a long and varied background in the entertainment industry. You crossed over into media. And so we'll dive right in and you'll tell us, how you started in entertainment, whether you started reading poetry, whether you started playing in a band, What's Taye about? Where did the Taye legend begin?
Oh boy. I think 1995, if I'm not mistaken, we had a Carry Festa down here. And my sister, her husband then, and myself, a couple of other friends, we went to Carry Festa and we were like, wow, we want to get part of this, we want to be part of this thing. And we rushed home and we did a magazine, and we came back out and started distributing it. Serious, and that was kind of like all my life I was doing so many different things: photography, writing, just being me. And that moment kind of glued everything together, like little plastic thingy and a six-pack, and it just started to make sense. Of course, before that, while I was in UE, the whole Kiss Kitty Caravan thing had taken off. A lot of those people were my friends, But I can't sing, I can't play no instruments, so that whole thing just passed me by, I used to write poetry, but mainly, to impress girls. A little bit. The writing was, I never called myself a writer. I could write, Writing for me is really about personal expression, it's about communication. But later on in my life, I'm going to have the Great Caribbean Epic and, turn it into a film and everything. So I'll come in here and look for money. Remember the face? Go see my movie in 20 years. But that's basically it in a nutshell. Started off humble, still humble. And I think it just built,
So you need to explain to me how one runs home and does a magazine, because I still lost in that matrix.
Well, Lisa Allen Agostini, my sister, my younger sister, she is one of the best writers you could ever encounter. Forget Caribbean, forget labels, right? Kaifel, her husband, he was working at Allen Agostini advertising, and he had access to wonderful things at the time, like a Mac, and page design and layout software, Quark Illustrator, and Quark Express and Illustrator and Photoshop. And we just asked everybody we knew to give us a story, give us a poem, give us a photo, and we gave it to Kaifel. And I think by the end of the week, we had a single fold, and we called it Topsoil, because it was the fertile layer of the Caribbean imagination. And we just handed it out. I think we printed 50 copies on his company photocopier, and we just handed it out. And people were like, hey, this is real good, this is real best. And then we're like, okay, we had to back this up. And automatically I became the editor. I don't know why, because I guess I had the least amount to do. Lisa was in school, Kaifel was working. So, bam. That led to what, boy? That led to working more full-time as a graphic artist, and then that led to working at the Express, doing Vox magazine.
Tell us about the Vox in a little
Vox magazine, wow, cool.
Yeah.
Vox was Voice of Original Expression. The Express wanted to reach out to that middle ground reader, teens to early 20s, and Nazma had started it. Nazma Muller had started this project, and it was a mind-blowing thing, It was in response to something that the Guardian was doing. Similar intent, I think it was called The Zone. And she had to she got a job in Jamaica, so she was like, hey, gotta go. Hey, you and you. And that's basically it. 1 week we were writers, my sister and I, and then next week we were co-editors of the Vox. And we had our own vision for what we wanted to bring in. You know, a lot more Caribbean weeness, a lot more of the Trini, how they call it, how my boy called it the other day, gutter. We wanted to keep it gutter. We wanted it to reflect us as a Trini thing, and we had the first all Trini comic strip, weekly comic strip with all Trini stuff. What else we have? So many firsts, it's just not funny, you know. Most of the young people my age who are in media right now cut their teeth in Vox. Most of the really good people who were really good back then in Vox too. Uncle, Nigel, Telesford, Remy, Rambunctian, Cedric Martin. You know, you can't pick up a newspaper, pick up a magazine, go and watch a television show, go on radio without somebody who passed through Vox, you know. The first Great Fete weekend actually was a Great Race weekend still. And Hyper Hopper was debuting in this warehouse down in the back of Crown Point. And Hyper Hopper is there, and we were like, Kivan Gibbs myself, we were like, he's going to be a star, and we're going to make sure that happens. That couldn't fall off the radar for us, and you know, I'm not saying that I created that, but I made sure that whatever happened, jugglers, jokers at the time too, there was this kind of war between the two of them. Everything registered on this Vox scale. I mean, if it was relevant to the youth, it was out there in the mainstream, and that was for about 2 years. Then I got fired.
Trini soap opera.
Oh, the Trini soap opera, right? Wow, we tried to get that on radio. Didn't happen. Company just didn't have the vision. But the Trini soap opera were about four or five girls, young women I should say, and they had this brilliant imagination, you know. People like Tracy Singh, Attila Springer, you know, Tilla Willer, you know, the Soundboy Killer. You know, it's when you it's like name dropping now, you know, all these young people that just passed through there. It was crazy, you know, but it was nothing else like it ever, you know. Westwood Park maybe, but yeah.
Okay, so you did Vox for how long?
97 to 2000 to 2001 or 2001.
What do you think your impact as a paper that you were putting out as this pullout was on the young people of that time? Because I mean, you said from your side what your intent was, but what do you think your impact was? Did you all get feedback? Did you all, you know?
People still stop me. You're Dennis Taye. I used to read Vox. And I'm like, how many children you have? It was so... Vox was for a lot of people, and I wish they used to write in more because we'd have had more strength in the bargaining process. But Vox was a lot for a lot of people. When you look back, I think part of the whole discovery of self that we went through in the last maybe 5 or 6 years as Trini, a lot of that came out of the assertiveness that the Vox crew gave to people, you know. Now when you see a DJ charging you $2,500 per hour, you know, part of that is because we helped create the celebrity of the hoppers and the jugglers, you know. We created people. A little known story, and I'm going loud. You're up here, Mr. Derek Doggy Slaughter. Mind your daughter. Doggy Slaughter. First year of Great Fete weekend, Slaughter is like, yeah, what's going on? I want to play in effect. Pay for his ticket. He's like, yeah, I had to go on and on, I said, don't worry yourself, I'll take care of you. And got him on the set, put him out there, and Slaughter take it over, right? Play Thursday night, play Friday night, get some water time on the who was there. The HOSE, right? Whatever other kind of hose it had. I had nothing to do with that.
Of course.
Alright.
No.
And you know, he created that space for himself, and up till last year, Slaughter was, you know, big part of it, and shout him out and thing. This year, we did a quick little interview on TV for another television thing, and it was, you know, these people all passed through what we tried to create as a space for them, and I think it's still vacant, you know. But I mean, hey, you know, new stuff is happening all the time. New media, Wi-Fi, BlackBerry. Need a BlackBerry sponsor? Somebody jump in. Yes, for sale. Oh no, wait, what's this?
Focus. come back to me. You mentioned it twice, so I want to jump right in. Sandbox and Great Fit.
Great Fit weekend, part of the foundation. Great Fit was started by Shane Belgrave, Kevan Gibbs, and myself. Alright? Anybody else came in after.
What year was
Sorry. That was after certain other people who had the franchise before us. This totally bust. And we said like, nah, we not going to let this happen again. 1999 was summer 1999. Oh, sorry, rainy season, if you want to call it, dry season, whatever you want to call it. July long vacation. 1999 was the first Great Fit weekend. It used to be the Great Race weekend, and we took it over. And so far, you know, it's been building, ups and downs, of course, like anything. And I think next year is going to be huge.
But you need to explain for the good
What's
listeners, viewers. Yeah, I mean,
what it used to be was Emancipation Day weekend.
Which
what it is now, which is the end of the last Saturday in July usually.
Right.
What it is now is the longest weekend in the world. Copyright. TM, it's 5 days, or at least 5 days. Some days it's 6, some years it's 6 days of parties. It's back to back. It's like a party marathon. It's like carnival in a nutshell. It's like, it's great. It's great. And it's going to
beach.
On the beach. Beach party, wonderful young women and
Hose, H-O-S-E.
Me with my big hose, spraying the party down. Great Fit weekend was another thing that we helped create that is now a rite of passage for young people. First time you're going unsupervised, it's like camp for adults too. So you know when you see all that generational clash, culture clash, you have the dance, all the soca, all of that happening on the beach in Tobago is wow. So to be a part of the architect or the architecture of that in terms of the Caribbean mindset, we want to take this thing on the next level. And you know, being part of that was, you know, one of my life accomplishments. Yeah, I want to get I don't know, a Chaconia goal or whatever, you know, not necessarily a Trinity whatever, cross, whatever they give you nowadays, a Trinidad medal or whatever. Yeah, one of them. Nah, maybe not for Great Fit. But a Chaconia goal. Humble.
Are you now?
No, it's not true.
So you all have had a 99, 2009, 10, 11 years.
Yes.
Still going.
Yeah, you know, one of the longest existing franchises, uninterrupted franchises in Trinidad entertainment. A lot of people don't realize how much work goes into keeping something every year. Look back, Brass Festival, dead. You know, most of them big fat dead. You know, it had some years where they ban it because somebody dead or get shoot or something. You know, we've never, knock on wood, we've never had we've never had any major incidents because of the way I think we create something in your mind that you're going there to have fun. I'm going to have no bosses and all that kind of thing. But of course you have rango tangos and everything. But Great Fit weekend was wow. It still is.
What's the biggest you'll have ever had in terms of numbers?
Can I talk about that? Big. This big.
What? Y'all have never counted? Like,
of course we can't. We can't talk about that. The biggest we've ever had was last year, which would be 2009 Great Fit. We had busy signal. There was traffic. If anybody know Tobago, you could Google map it. There was traffic going right up to Tobago plantations. I am not lying to you. From plantations all the way down to Pigeon Point had traffic. It took busy signal 45 minutes to get from the gate at the opening, the entrance, the main gate, to the backstage. 45 minutes. What would take you like a 5-minute ride? But because he didn't want to come out, it's cold breeze and it's sweaty up your little plats and thing. Right, so he didn't want to walk and he take 45 minutes to drive from there to there, which is probably about 200 meters. It was packed. That year we probably had about 6,000 people, gave out about 1,200 complimentaries, had about maybe an 800, you know, uninvited but welcome guests who just jump fence and dig hole. It had people digging hole like some kind of
and paddle,
and
people and swim and
people making
and wade through the grasses in the swamp and
people pulling bull with jet skis. Actually, that stormer, you can't stop a chimney from storming nothing. They pulling bull with jet ski. They
And
pull bull
for
with
foreign listenership or viewership, storming is getting into an event that you're not supposed to be in. Right, so back to storming. Yeah.
Right. Now, we cut down on the storming this year. Last year was actually not the worst. The worst, we probably had some sections of wall pulled down and, God boy, maybe 2,000 people stormed.
Damn. But then you're back.
No, yeah, people feel we driving BMW and Rolls Royce and all kind of thing from this Great Fete thing. You know, Great Fete is a labor of love. And we waiting for people to realize that this thing is doing something for tourism. That, I mean, like compared Plymouth Jazz, how much? About $30-40 million in 4 or 5 years. Great Fete weekend. Where you pay Shakira, we could have do Great Fete for about 3 years with that money alone. Serious. It was so the discrepancy between in terms of the public sector and the private sector investment in our party, it's very big, you know. But maybe hopefully this year with this new regime, we might see a new disposition towards this type of activity. But in the past, we believe we've been punished because we are private. And we didn't want to move in a particular direction. But hopefully this year this will change a little bit.
Okay. Right, so that's Great Fete. What else does the Taye do?
Pump it up! What do I do?
What is a vibe?
Is a vibe.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Wow.
How is a vibe came about? What was the involvements?
If is a vibe, okay. I'm a visual artist, right? My sister, she's a writer, Kaifel, art and direction, right? Visual artist. We had a lot of people who were performance artists. My sister is also a poet. So we needed to create an environment where that was also being fed. So, plus we didn't have nothing to do on a Sunday and we wanted to learn. Serious. So we created something called Sunday Breezes, which ran at the Space Bar in Bretton Hall. That's Raymond Chukong production. Big up to Raymond. Raymond Chukong had this little theater, and beneath the theater in the basement there was this thing called the Space Bar, and it would probably hold maybe 50-60 people next show. And he gave us a space bar. Okay, what do you want to do? Okay, come. And that was it. That was the discussion. No contract, no nothing. And for 8 weeks that year, we started somewhere. Oh no, you know what started that? My fashion show. Yes, I was also a designer. Yes, and I saw one thing. I saw curtain and thing. Not anymore.
I'm being bad. I'm sorry. I take that back. It wasn't even.
No, I had to go into that gear to show you. It's not I'm saying. No, hey, look, let me tell you. If it wasn't for gay people, we would not have clothes.
I was being bad. I was being bad.
Serious. I had to get in touch with my feminine side to get into
it. There are a lot of manly men that. Anyway.
No, there are a few. But no, seriously, I was doing fashion. I was doing bags, accessories, hats, T-shirts for that I used to pay for my food and thing. And May 1995, a lot happened in that year.
I was
right?
going to say like
May 1995, we jumped out with a fashion show. It was called Admit One, and it was the same cast of characters. You know, some of my friends from UE, Ozzy Merrick, Sheldon Holer, who's now 12. He played. That was the first public performance for him. All right, Ruben Victor. Well, he was jamming for a long time, you know. Who else came through that year? Oh, at a clan, can't forget Clanny, because after, what had happened was, Lisa, after we did our show, we was like, you know, we should do this every week. So we pulled in a few people, and every week we had it, you know, like an open mic. Then we evolved that into something that my sister, she wanted to go away on an exchange program, and she needed to raise funds for that. So Radical Designs had gotten involved, and they gave us some T-shirts and a couple other sponsors who I can't remember right now, but I know Radical was one of the main sponsors, so I'll give them a shout out. Good corporate citizenship. And we did that for 8 weeks, called Sunday Breezes. Then right after that, we took about maybe 1 week break, and then we did the Holy Underground, which was Ata Clan, Mark Jimenez and myself. And that was one of the first performances of, guess who? KMC. KMC came down there with this, you know what they call a dub plate? Right. Dub plate of his song that he went up to Jamaica, pressed himself. I think it was like $700-800 with his hand. And I was like, he come down there, but we are not turntable. So he had to do it a cappella. He's like, boy, climbing over this. And then he started busting out, and everybody's like, where this come from? You know, back then he was doing that kind of dance hall, kind of. And then, like, right after that, my boy just do so. And that's when worldwide. So we had people like John Johnson, who are, so many good people pass through there. Every week we had real good, and it was like another thing that fed off of other things too. Back then, Shea Loveless and Eddie Bowen, they were doing a series of art, like expositions kind of thing, and you'd go in our old house, and all of a sudden you would see art, And then that's when we realized that, you had to get out of the mindset that, art happens in a space, art happens in your mind and in your heart, and you take it over. So that's really what that was about. So it's a vibe came out of that, and then we went on to Space Bar, Davis's 101 on Oxford Street. We had Art Sky, Joint Pop, 12 The Band, before they even knew I was 12 The Band. We had Kevin Mayo. We had so many people. Poets, There was this one time, and there's a story. I think her name was Mary. Forgive me if I get it wrong. But she used to come all the time when we were in Davis's. All the time, and she was like, she would walk with her book and thing, and she was like, this writing thing? And she talking quiet. This writing thing. Well, come on. So we had this thing called, virgins, right? Losing your virginity. So we just call you out. So we called her out that day, and she came, and she bring the book and her hand shaking. And she read, and Mary Panton. Oh gosh. Anyhow, my good friend, if you see me now, the name go popping in. But I think about 2 years after that, her poetry was featured on the Clico calendar, and she would always talk about how empowering that process was for her, who used to come every week? Ben Lyon. You know what I mean? And he died he was supposed to come through a week, and he died like right after that, and it was like, damn. So he didn't get a chance to share with us, but Andre Tanker, was like, everybody fed off it. Everybody would come, and sponsors would give us money. Except Star gave us money at times, and they helped us do a little show. That was one we called Is a Vaps, because we catch our Vaps and do it. That was upstairs, CC87. So thank you, Charlotte Elias, for believing in us. What else you want to know? Everybody pass through. Everybody. Make it happen. Make it happen. Rapper. No. Make it happen. At the time, he was, what was his name called back then? I can't remember his name back then, but Rayon is like a Trini version of Common. Unbelievable talent. No cover for your mouth. It's whoa, real amazing stuff. Joe Lord, that kind of jazzy, kind of. So many great people.
Did you all tape these things? Is
we
it captured
do.
Anywhere?
We have the tapes. We have it on Sony PAL.
Oh.
So if you can find a Sony PAL camera, we have a vault. Yeah.
Is it that there's somebody who could convert these things?
Sony PAL. PAL, European format, but it's Sony. So it can't be no other kind of camera. Sony PAL Mini DV, holla, millions. Pieces. You know, pieces. And it was spark.
If you know anyone, or if you yourself can assist with the conversion of these archives of Trinidad and Tobago's culture, you people looking out there on, titiantonline.com, drop us our email to info or contact us. Yeah? The serious business here.
We also have mini discs. Remember them thing? Yeah. Mini discs, which is digital. But you know what? They get mildew and thing now. So
all you mash some of them up.
No, they get mildew on it. The mildews eat away the magnetic thing. So you're on the clock. Yeah.
This is a serious challenge.
Anybody. Hey, look, man, some of the stuff in there. Amazing stuff on there. Amazing stuff. And we had lighting and proper PA and good audio tech and thing. And that was the year we really were supposed to take it on next.
But what happened?
No money. No money.
Something like that.
No money. We get money, you know. Somebody who has always supported me and my little mad ventures, Shane Belgrave, who graphics. He came out, he gave me some. He's like, oh boy, more free thing again, boy. He gave me 1,000 invitations for free. So we went and we pumped that up. We went and we talked to Carberry. Stag agreed to give us $5,000. We ended up using that to paint the backdrop and pay for some lights, pay for the PA that week. And, you know, but that money didn't go nowhere. But you know what? We have it on tape.
On Sony Ball.
On Sony Ball. Yeah.